you know what? While they're saying it's setting up your live YouTube, we're live, Doug. Just for the record, we're live.
I know it's, hey, you know what? You're always live. That's what life is all about. You're always on stage. And even in the most quietest day of your life, somebody's still listening to you. You're still entertaining someone. You're making contact. So I think, you know, that every word out of our mouth, we should think about it before we launch it.
Totally. You're absolutely 100% right.
I mean, I'm like a machine gun. No.
That's why I'm joking. I just was telling you I'm joking because I was live without you and I was talking to you and I was live. That's why they trick you. YouTube tricks you. As fast as you put the live button, you're live. But it gives you this like whole thing that goes like this and you're supposed to watch until you're really live. That's not true because they're trying to catch the craziness that you do before you're live. Anyways, how are you? I'm so excited.
And yourself? Doing good?
I'm spectacular. And I want you to always know how much I appreciate you and love you. You are amazing.
Well, thank you. Well, you know what? If you look at some parts of your life and you go, geez, I did more at that time. You know, I accomplished more. I set more goals. You know, I was really trying to achieve things. And then there's other days, other parts of your life where you're just on a cruise control. You're just trying to get from day to day to day. And I think when I jumped into business, with Burger King years ago, that was hard. I mean, that was getting up early every morning and working late and, you know, and having it go again the next day, the same thing, Groundhog's Day over and over and over again. And, you know, you got 2 days off, Christmas and Thanksgiving. And I mean, that was celebration. And, but, you know, you got to remember on your days off, other people know your day is off too. And the biggest theft at my stores when I was operating as a franchise was on Thanksgiving. And someone, obviously, they realized we were closed down that day. They broke in the back of the store. They went in and basically cleaned out my, the cooler, you know, the cooler and the freezer, and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars because we got all of our orders the day before, which they already knew. They could just sit there at the menu board or whatever. And, they get their deliveries on Thursday or Wednesday or whenever. And so that was stupid, you know. Then like right now, everybody has to have cameras everywhere, you know, so they can see everything that's happening, you know, either with your family, your friends, you know, your business.
Okay, just for the record, that's stupid to have cameras with your family. That's weird. That's weird.
No, I'm sorry. That's probably wrong. No.
Yeah, you don't have cameras for your family.
I don't. No. The only cameras I have with them is when I ask them to smile. You know, I have it. That is the only camera in our house.
No, what one of the things I love and appreciate about you is like every time I talk to you during the week, because you guys don't know, the people who listen to our podcast, you don't realize Doug and I are really, truly good friends. And every time I call Doug during the week, I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm working. And he truly is working all the time with his rental houses and his stuff he does. He truly is working all the time. And he always, like, it's so funny when I say to you, what are you doing? You like I'm working. Like, and I feel the same way. People call me, they're like, people call me all the time. They're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm freaking working. I'm freaking working.
You know what? I don't want him to feel bad or anything, but listen, I mean, the brain is just like a muscle on your arm. You know, it's like a bicep here. If you don't work it, it's going to go dead. You know, like I said, the old thing, you can retire, but you can really never stop working because every day requires something, you know, to make breakfast, make lunch, make dinner, whatever. If your wife doesn't do it, clean the house, clean as you go. My mother was like a fanatic on cleanliness. I mean, she would always tell us, myself and my two brothers, clean. And we had days of the week where we ran the sweeper and the vacuum, and we switched it off between the three of us. And then we all had responsibilities. We wiped light bulbs down. I mean, who wipes a light bulb down? I mean, come on. And
we do in our house because I live with a clean fanatic.
You know, but you know what? you learn that lesson. And I'll tell you what, we are all habits. We are all automatic habits. And now when I get up, the first thing I'm looking for is dust around the door, whether the door to my bedroom's open or closed. I want to get the vacuum. The vacuum is very soothing to me. It like comforts me. I love to hear the sound of that vacuum. And it's picking up Lynn, and you're going, man, I'm doing good stuff today. I'm cleaning. The house feels better. Everybody comes in here, looks around, and it looks pretty good. So, no.
Are you telling me that you make breakfast, lunch, and dinner and clean and work?
Not just for myself. I mean,
but you do it all. You bring home the bacon, you make it happen, you clean, you cook. You're like what they say about women, but you're doing it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, you know why? Because if I don't have a job right now where I'm 7 days a week, or like I was before. So, it's like I got a lot of time, and that's why I'm big on getting licenses. Start reading about stuff, like real estate, and whether it's health insurance or securities or whatever the case might be. Man, you can learn stuff you've never learned before. Because I promise you, they weren't teaching you anything in school about trying to make money or have a job.
Okay, why don't you go get your law degree at this point in your life? Or you could be a surgeon. You could do anything, Doug.
My wife's brothers are all surgeons. So, they're doctors, and some are surgeons, some are orthopedic and neurological. So, yeah, if I ever want to talk about, surgeries and stitches, I go talk to those guys because they got plenty of stories. It's funny. I really appreciate her brother one time, and I don't think I'm out of order by saying this. The brother allowed me to come out and participate in a surgery where he was doing brain surgery. I'll tell you one of the most interesting things of my life. I didn't assist him. I didn't pick up a tool or anything like that. And
Thank God.
No, I know that. I was standing far away. I didn't say one word the whole time, which is like torture for me.
Yeah.
What about that black spot there? Well, it's crazy. Some of these little tumors inside of you, it's like that lady that does the pimple popper or whatever each week. I love that show because she's popping pimples and they're flying out. She squeezes them. This is kind of like what it was. Kind of squeezed a certain part, and
Okay, just for the record, I've watched that show one time and it was so disgusting I couldn't watch it again.
Yeah, it was so. But everybody has a profession, and there's some things. One thing I hated about like in the restaurant business, if you ever took out the trash was a conglomeration of a whole bunch of things that were all served at the restaurant, but they sat inside a container for a long time. Maybe in the summer it was longer than others. And then you go out and take it and put it in a container. Man, the moment you open up that lid, oh my gosh, some of the worst smells you've ever had in your life. And so every job has pluses and minuses. Some you only have to work a few hours a day. Other ones, they're terrible. You got to be there for 12 hours, to get.
All right. So tell me the job that I can work a couple hours a day, because I haven't found that yet.
I think you would be an awesome consultant. I think you've got a lot of topics that you've personally experienced, and I think you have a lot of.
Yeah, no. The problem with that whole consultant thing for me, because people always tell me that I don't want to be responsible because I have too big of a heart. I don't want to be responsible for their success because I can't control their success, because people are lazy, quite frankly, and I don't want to be involved with that. So I like to do what I like to do and be with the people I like to be with. But tons of people have told me you should be a consultant, but you just, and I learned that at a young age when I was a news anchor, actually.
Right.
And when I was a news anchor and watching reporters and what I had to do to help them. And if you're not driven, nobody can teach you to be driven. Nobody can teach you to be trustworthy. Nobody can teach you to have the drive for life. And I learned that at a very young age. And so I respect it though, but thank you for the compliment.
Get it right on. You know what? You can't move. It's like trying to move an elephant. It's not going to go. If they say, no, I don't want to move anything. I don't want to learn anything. I don't want to do anything. You really have a challenge on your hands. And
okay. So we were talking this morning before about our time today, but tell me, I didn't hear the whole story about the football player that got hit by a car.
Yeah. Well, there's always more to the story and I think I told you before, some things I would read in the newspaper, were not the real story. I knew the real story because they were stories about football players or coaches or whatever. And, some of the ways they got injured when it was not correct. They got injured in a totally different way, but they couldn't tell the public that. Does that make any sense?
100%. That's why we do this podcast, for you to tell the real deal about NFL.
They're making up. They make up stuff. And I laugh. I'm watching television. I'm going, that is not what happened. I know what happened. And they weren't talking about me because, I always tried to be as honest as I could with the reporters, everybody, because you know what? It's a big circle. This world is a big globe and there's a circle on it, and everything comes around and comes back to you. So you better be honest. You better be forward. Same thing with conversations with people. I always try to be as clear and as honest as I possibly can about suggesting or recommending to them something that worked for me. Maybe it doesn't work for you. There's a whole bunch of different things about attacking goals and jobs and employment and all those sort of things. And, one job or one employment doesn't work for everybody. What one person says, oh my gosh, this is the best job I've ever had in my life. Another person says, I can't wait to quit. I'm not coming back tomorrow. It just amazes me how different people are. And, some people, like I said, they're hardworking, they're diligent, they stick with it. There's other ones, though, that have done some things in their life which it really turned them off. It turned them off from working and effort and getting up each day and writing down what you want to do. And then they become, their own worst nightmare.
All right, so let's get back on topic. Who was the football player that got hit by the truck or whatever?
It was Dwayne Haskins. It was a quarterback from Ohio State.
I totally know who that is. That's horrible.
He was in his 20s. And I just think that, they never really said how he got onto the highway. I didn't understand that. He got hit by this dump truck. Well, if you get hit by a dump truck and it's going any speed at all, you're probably not going to come away from it breathing, and it just was a horrific incident, but nobody really knows. I mean, they just said he died. He died.
Regardless of the story, it's horrible. Regardless, I mean, let's face it. We all know I got hit by a truck bicycling, but the point is that I thank God every day for being safe. But regardless, it's horrible for the family and the people around him. And gosh, that's what I want to say. Thank God every day for every moment and everything that we have, because.
That's right.
Right? Like,
you are right.
I'm gonna give a shout out to God. And I don't know your situation because we don't talk about religion, but it's not about religion for me. This week is very special because when you're a Christian, you know that, God died this week and rose again, and we're having Easter. And so I just want to give a shout out and be thankful for the things that we have in our lives, and for what he did for us. And I'm thankful for that. And that's what I want to say.
I just think we got to take life a little more serious in protecting of our life. I like to think of myself as an aggressive person, and I've been in my share of
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
I rolled over many, many times, hit things, hit other people, and, and just some other crazy things I've done, like climbing cliffs when I was younger. Where I grew up in Pennsylvania, there was kind of like a valley where you went through this ravine, and there was these real high cliffs with a lot of rocks, and the kind of rocks that you grab a hold of and pull on, and they just go flying out down the hill. Boom, 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 boom. It takes like 5 times of hitting to get down to the bottom. And I'm just thinking, there were so many times that I was in a situation where I could have died, but I didn't die, because of luck, whether it was.
No, I'll tell you why. It's because you have a bigger purpose and you don't even realize it. You have a bigger purpose. You have a bigger purpose, and you're supposed to do something spectacular, which you do on a daily basis. You help people with your homes. You help people with the podcast. You help people with Cameo. It's huge. And actually, I'm going to connect you with a gentleman that, anyway, that's a different subject. I'll talk to you about it later. But the point is that Cameo and all the things that you do to bring joy to people's lives, it's because you have a bigger purpose. When your heart is still beating, God's not done with you. Just remember that. So until your heart stops beating, God is not done with you. And be thankful for that. Because you have grandkids, you have kids, you have a beautiful wife. You got a lot of responsibilities yet. So you're not going anywhere at all.
It's funny. I told you that story about my wife falling off her ladder, a year ago or something. She landed on the hood of our car, like well over $1,000 in damage. And so she hit pretty hard. And I'm not a big fan.
Dude, she's like 90 pounds. How does she have $1,000 of damage?
Right. That's an example of how hard she hit. And, so now I'm not a big fan of. I have a ladder. It's called. Let's see. Is it an alligator? Is that it? It's a name for it, and it's really, really strong, and it opens up, and boom, boom, boom. All these things clap into place. So you can barely pick this thing up. But when you set that thing up, you're not going to flip over and do all those sort of things. And I just thought, there were some accidents here in Phoenix recently, and the people didn't make it. They were in some smaller cars, and I have no disrespect for smaller cars. It's just that, I feel like if you're going to get in an accident, in a bad accident, you really want to be in something that's going to give you a chance, Megan, to survive it. Now, my daughter was driving a Prius for a while. No, nothing disrespectful about that. But if a Prius was in a collision with a dump truck, the dump truck would probably win. So what I did last week was I just said, hey, I'm done. I saw some of the things on television, not just that situation getting hit by a dump truck, but there was another accident here where the guy died. I go,
so you bought her a Bentley.
No, she's getting a Ford 150 pickup truck. And
that's good.
It is good because you know what? You get in those things and I don't know, you feel safe and you can run into things, and not get hurt. And, we all have people that we love in the car with us too, our, wives and brothers, sisters, moms and dads.
Kids. Well, your daughter has kids. So.
Yeah. It's like, why not try to give them the best chance you can? And, just think things through because, sometimes you can say, well, Doug, that's way too stupid. That's not worth even thinking about.
No, you know what? It's being, I'm blessed to have an amazing father. I have an amazing father, and my dad would do the same thing for me, but you're an amazing father. And I know the situation. She's in LA and LA is crazy and you're always taking care of her. And she's just, when she watches this someday, she's so blessed to have you and your wife and her mom, because you guys are amazing parents. And I strive to be like you.
You know what? My dad never really taught me anything. I mean, my mother did how to wash dishes. So she taught me that and how to run the vacuum. So, I mean, she taught me all the things that like ladies like to do in the house or whatever, and clean and wipe and, how to cook things on the stove. But my dad really never taught me anything about, trying to be a man and all that sort of thing. And, I really think it hurt me in some of those situations, like, how I drove a car, getting in all these accidents, falling off ladders, I was 9 years old. I had by then I accumulated 125 stitches by 9.
Because that's crazy.
That was the margin of error in our neighborhood. You had to have 100 stitches by the time you turned 9. And, I was always falling off something and landed on my head or getting hit with a baseball bat or, something that just always caused, me to tear my skin. And, sometimes you're out there peeling an apple with a knife. It's a sharp knife. Hey, parents should say, no, you're 9 years old. You're 8 years old. You are not going to be with a knife and trying to skin an apple or something like that. You could stick yourself so bad. A couple times I stuck myself. I had to get stitches. And, but it's a learning experience and it's something that you can benefit from and hopefully then pass it along to your kids or your grandchildren. Hey, wise up. Don't be stupid. One time I was fooling around with my son and we were in the living room and I just wanted him to throw him in the air because I had strong legs and he was only like, 20 pounds or something like that. So I could throw him almost up and hit the ceiling. Well, the problem was, as I'm running around this room, throwing him up, there's a ceiling fan in our room. Yes. And it was on. Oh, it was on. And I'll never forget the sound of those blades going.
Oh, okay.
As I was
Delete.
the top of his
Delete. Oh my gosh, I can't even believe you admitted that.
My wife.
Your wife went crazy.
Oh, she went crazy.
Of course she did. I would have gone crazy. Like, Doug. Okay, delete. We're not going to end this because we're live, but delete.
I'm going in the room, throwing them up in the air. I go, hey, isn't this fun? This is fun. Oh, yeah, we're having so much fun. And I hear this. I go, okay, that was it.
I have so much respect for your wife for dealing with your crazy.
You know what, though? I think it's important to go through life, though, and have fun and do things and enjoy it with other people, because there's a lot of things I've done. Maybe I didn't really enjoy it by myself. There's always more fun, when somebody else is there. And all
right, let's give a shout out to your wife. You guys have been married, what, 35 years?
I think like 46.
Oh, sorry. So yeah, you and your wife, and it's a great testament to you as the person. That's why I do a podcast with you. It's a great testament to you. You've been married 46 years to your wife. You have amazing 2 children who are very successful people. And it's just amazing. It's so positive. And you still work 24/7 at 55.
Think about this. You
didn't catch that joke. I was trying to be funny.
No, I did. Tell me one more time. What was it?
I said you have an amazing family. You have 2 beautiful children who are very successful. You have an amazing wife of 46 years, and you're only 55, and you still work your butt off.
Yeah, no, I wish I was 55. It's one of those situations that you don't really realize sometimes how fast time goes by, and I really realized, especially as you get older, 1 year is a very small percentage of your life. If you're 5 years old and you're 1 year, and one year is 20% of your life. So you remember things. You never forget it. And so when you get older, I guess what I'm just telling, I said time becomes more insignificant because it's just another year.
All right. So tell our audience, what at your age, at 65, 68, whatever you are, what is the best advice you would give to someone? You're 69.
I think accomplishment, just a satisfaction.
So what's the best? No, wait a minute. Stop for a second. You're 69.
Yes, I am.
I guess I've known you for 2 years then. So, so anyway, the point is, what's the best advice at 69 you would give to people who are 20? I
would say, one thing that really helped me in my life, when I was playing football, at times during practice and during the game, they would film the practice or the game. Okay. So you're at practice and you're out there and you're just stretching and you're, all this kind of stuff, your hands over your head, whatever, doesn't mean anything. But now you get into practice, and when they start filming things, what they do is they grade and they break down that film after practice. So you're in meetings and you're right next to all your other friends, teammates, and you have to watch this game or this practice. And they dissect every single thing you do. The way you bend over, how your back pedal is, what contact you made with the other player. Did you bring them down? You make a good tackle. I found that when they were filming things, I was much more involved and much more committed to what I was doing.
Oh, that's interesting.
I would do it at the fastest and highest level of execution that I could. And here's what I thought. You were asking me about what good did football do for me. When I'm away from the field and, there's things that I'm in a store or something like that. And I'm thinking, geez, you know what? I could probably go over there and just grab that item on the shelf and stick it in my pocket and nobody would know the difference. But I'm thinking, you know what? what would you do if there was a camera on you right now, filming you for everything you're doing? And this would be a permanent history of your effort, the character of who you are. And that would compel me to act differently and to act correctly and try to be the person that everybody thinks you are instead of the person that maybe you are really inside. So, I was.
Yeah, but you know what? You're okay. So let me just stop you for a second. You're blessed because you had cameras on you at a very young age, and you're 69 and you had cameras on you when you were 17, which is freaking, people don't even understand that at this time and age. People don't understand how you can have cameras on you when you're 17, like 45, 60 years ago. Anyways, the point is that now reality is everybody has cameras on them 24/7. People can video you 24/7. They have iPhones and, Samsung, whatever it is, but you can be videoed 24/7. So the point is what I'm trying to ask you, and I want you to tell the younger version, because I have teenage kids, and my teenage kids, when people say, "Who's your mom?" they say, "Google her." So the point is they watch this. They watch this. So what I'm saying, for the 20-year-old, what would we tell, and I'll give you my answer after you give yours. What would we tell our 20-year-old self? What is the best thing we can do to be the most positive person we can be? What would you tell a 20-year-old at this day, knowing what we know?
Yeah, I would say maybe instead of it being filmed, like in my situation, just say your mother and your father are watching you right now. Whatever you're doing, would you be proud of that? Would you own it? Would you tell other people about it? Or would you say, no, that wasn't me, I never did that? You would lie and say, no, I can't do that. Nobody ever said that to me. I never said that. Those situations are going to come up, and you're going to be put in those circumstances in your life, not just a couple times, a lot of times. And when I would have something happen on the field during a game that I knew looked bad, like someone coming from behind and hit me in the back and me falling on the ground, acting like it hurts or something, I started practicing different ways of rolling so that when someone knocked me off my feet, I would turn as fast as I could to the ground, because that's where I was flying to. And I would duck my head and I would roll and be back on my feet in seconds. I never laid on the ground. Nobody ever came by and just.
Well, that's why there's the Chicago Bears 46 is named after you. I mean, let's face it. We already know that. You're a rock star.
The other thing is, I'm going, somebody is watching me right now. So when I come up to try to tackle this guy, I'm not just going to tackle him. I'm going to be like a mountain lion. I'm going to be going like this all over his body, like over his chest area, and especially where the ball is. And I'm going to make this as uncomfortable as I can for him. And I want to hear the oxygen in his lungs coming out. I want to hit him that hard where he's going, "Ugh!" and get him on the ground. Never stop, because when people watch that on film, they go, this guy is insane. He's nuts. He's crazy. He will never stop. He will just keep going. And I think we need to do things like that in our life. Don't ever stop. Don't quit. Just go and show how much you are committed to something. It might be working. It might be a relationship. It could be a whole bunch of things. I just mentioned the football because, when you walk into that film room, that's you. That's you on that film, and you got to own it. And when people are asking you why you didn't do something or why you did something, you have to have an answer for it. And usually I always had an answer. And
of course you had an answer. You always have an answer.
I would just say, there were times too where some people really, really hit me hard. And frankly, especially if you get hit on the side of the head, it's very easy to get knocked out. And there were times where I would get hit on the side of the head by another bigger player, and I was still standing. But, it's amazing, Megan, in football, sometimes you can look straight ahead and you're looking at another player or another thing in front of you. You can't move. You've just been hit and you are stunned. Your brain, it's like there's just short circuit. there's no message going down to the arms and legs to move. And you're standing there like the Statue of Liberty. And one time in Green Bay, up in Green Bay, Wisconsin, we were playing the Packers, and I got hit on the side of the helmet by an offensive guard that was 285 pounds running full speed. And he hit me, and I was still standing, but the runner, Megan, ran right by me. I like tried to reach out like this, and it was like being in molasses or something. I couldn't grab him. I grabbed my hands, and he goes flying right by, and everybody in the room laughed, like, what's wrong with you? What? And I said, I know this sounds insane, but I could not move my arms. And I
believe you. You've told me so many stories. I believe you 100%.
My body I was stunned. I was literally stunned, and I just watched them go by. And so, I mean, it took me a couple of plays to literally just shake it off and go over there and drink a bunch of Gatorade or whatever it was. And I mean, I hit the guy later on in the game, but I just think, just be the person that you want to be. Don't ever break that commitment. And because there's other people around you that are watching you all the time. You don't think they are, but they really are. And they're watching what you do. And especially if you're supposedly a leader on the team, wow, it's going to look really bad when you don't do what you're supposed to do.
All right. So do you want me to tell you my answer? Because I'm not as cool as you, but I'm going to tell you my answer.
All right.
I'm not as cool as you, but I'm going to tell you my answer. So I would tell my children what I know today at 50. I'm 50 and I'm proud to admit it. I love being 50. But the point is that I would tell my kids, and again, this is non-biased, non-racial, but I would tell them that God is probably your best friend.
Yes.
But you don't understand it till you're 40. Like, honestly, you don't really understand that stuff till you're 40, but he's your best friend, and you need to read when you have time. And then I would say that never be afraid or never have fear, and accomplish everything you want to accomplish. And don't ever let anybody tell you can't. That's what I would tell my kids. Go for the gold. Go for the gold. And just when you have faith in God, go for the gold. And you know what? If you're going to get shut down, and trust me, I've been shut down. It's fine. But the point is that you go for the gold. Never, ever give up on your dreams, whatever you want to accomplish. And then I would say the last thing I would say, focus on what you truly want to accomplish. Because, some people don't even know what they want.
They don't know.
Yeah. So you got to focus on what you want. So focus on what you want, go for it as if you're going to win 100% and have faith in God. Those are my 3 things I would tell my kids. And actually, that's what I tell my kids because they're 16, 17, and 18. And that's what I tell them. But, go for the gold. Don't be fearful, and believe in God, and just freaking move forward. Don't worry about it. That's what I would tell. That's what I tell my kids. But for the world, that's what I would tell is that just go for it, because it doesn't matter.
I have 2 types of regrets in my life. One is the regret of failing, never accomplishing what I wanted to accomplish. Either I didn't work hard enough, I didn't prepare myself, I didn't pass the test, I didn't, end up at the finish line. And, but I can handle that one. The one that I can't handle is the one that I wanted to do something in my life, Megan, but I never did it. I know. So when I'm not in real estate. It's regrets.
I'm not real estate anymore at all. I'm not in real estate anymore. But I will tell you, when I was the real estate girl in Beverly Hills, I'm not real estate anymore. But when I was the real estate girl and I worked with extremely wealthy people selling their houses, they said the same thing. I regret the fact that I never tried the things I wanted to try. And that's why, and I truly, of everything I went through in my situation, I'm so blessed because you know what? I do everything and I try everything because I will never, when I'm 100 years old, I will never be able to say I didn't try that because I do whatever I want to try. So the point is I get it because I've heard that from many people. And so the point is that that's why I tell my kids, go for the gold, try whatever you want, do whatever you want, and believe in God. Those are my things for them. I don't care about anything else, and just be safe.
Those are great instructions. And if your kids are faithful enough to follow through with that, they'll never be unhappy or sad. And, it's like, yeah, I felt bad at a few of the things that I never succeeded in.
You're so young yet. You're so young yet. You can do a ton of stuff, whatever you want to do. You want to jump out of an airplane, you want to like parachute, like whatever you want.
And I wish people, I talk to a lot of people and say, Doug, man, I really liked watching you play or something. And I say, man, it's too bad that, like, if you want to experience the NFL, just line up on a kickoff, just one kickoff. And, there's 11 guys out there on the other side of the field. 10 of them, there's a guy that's going to catch the ball. The other 10 guys are going to try to knock you out or, hit you. So when your ball gets kicked and you run down the field, you're running. I mean, it's out of body. There's a roar in the stadium. There's maybe jets or planes going overhead, and you're running down there as fast as you can. And you look over here and you see these other guys that are putting themselves in position. They hit you.
I just got to tell you, there's nothing you like, as much as people love football, but being on, and I've learned this from you, honestly, I've learned it from you, being on that field and being in that situation, like for you, it's no big deal. You're just playing football. But the point is that the fans that love you to death, but you are experiencing something totally different. And that's why I love when you share these stories, because that's what people want to hear. They want to hear how, like you've told me, when you get hit and you're tackled, it's like a car crash. And
yes.
the normal people don't know that. They're just watching in the stands, having their beer and their popcorn. But yeah. you get hit by somebody, and it's a freaking car crash. And you've taught me that. And so that's why I love hearing your stories, because I want people to know what it's really like to be an NFL player and really be on the floor.
It's sacrifice. There's pain, but you know what? I never showed pain to my opponent. And a lot of times, believe me, it was hurting and I was stunned, and I would just make my way back to the huddle, and I wouldn't say a word until I got back to the huddle. And then I would let out like this, the pain and suffering that I just incurred from that guy that hit me, maybe I didn't hit him hard enough or whatever. It's difficult to describe, but if you basically act like you got hit and you're laying on the ground and you're moaning and groaning and all that sort of thing, it's an incentive for that player to go do that again. When I came and hit somebody and I knocked the ball loose and I knocked their helmet off and knocked them on their back and they're laying there like knocked out, that motivated me to want to do that again. No, it sounds crazy. Now, they were bigger, stronger. They may not have been stronger than me, but they were heavier and bigger. And I think, it's like driving around with this Prius I was telling you about. This Prius is a small car on the road. But if there's a guy out there running around with this Prius, running into pickup trucks and dump trucks, you're going, something's wrong with him. I don't want to get in his way, because you know what? Him and I will do a head-on collision. And even though I'm bigger and heavier than he is, I don't want that Prius, knocking me out or hitting me. And here's the other thing too. When you go play against a team, Megan, that film is sent around to like all these other teams in the National Football League. And if you want to do an advertisement for yourself, go out one game. It only takes one game. Run down on kickoffs, be on defense or offense, which one it is. And you show a willingness to crash into people recklessly, full speed. You're going to scare.
Oh, well, that's what you're known for, quite frankly.
You're going to scare them. You know what?
All my other friends, because you're my best friend in the NFL, but my other friends in the NFL, they're like, dude, Doug will take you out in a heartbeat.
It's funny.
But you know what? I love you for that. I think that that's amazing because everybody knows you as you'll take them out.
It's, you're driving around, flying around here on the field. And again, I really believe that, you're looking at other people and you're evaluating them. How big are they? How strong are they? Are they willing to hurt me or hit me? And sometimes it's no. They don't want to hit anybody. Like kickers, I've never met a kicker that wanted to hit anybody. They want to kick the ball and they want to run off the field as fast as they can.
Well, yeah, I don't know, honestly, as good friends as you and I are, I am not a football girl, other than growing up on the Vikings 50-foot line with my dad, which I really appreciated because I love the cheerleaders. I love the cheerleaders. It was really fun to watch the cheerleaders, but I don't really know anything about football. But I will tell you, knowing you and knowing how you are and as driven as I am, I respect you so much. And I think it's just really fun. And that's why we do this.
Yep. It's, and I tell people all the time, I just wish you could experience one kickoff, where you're running down the field and it's so glorious.
Okay, so the only, listen to me, Doug, the only way they're ever going to experience it is you explaining it to them, because nobody talks about what you and I talk about. That's why our podcast is so successful, because you can tell it emotionally and how it happens. So we're going to save that for the next podcast because we've been talking too long. So the next podcast, we're going to talk about when you're on the field as an NFL player and you're doing a kickoff, and we're going to explain it to you like line by line. And Doug will tell you, because he lived it. He was there always. And he's flipping amazing if you haven't figured it out. All right, Doug, I love you.
Megan, thank you so much. I had a great time.
I'll see you soon.
Okay,
all right, keep smiling, because as you know, this it takes a minute to stop this stuff. And I'm the one that always messes everything up, but just so you know.
Well, you got like a typewriter in front of you. You got all these words and things you got to,
Oh, no. I'm just a blonde. I love it. Bye.
Okay. See you later.